I'm still having trouble finding enough people to dialogue with. I'm trying to do this 100-day roadmap,
Yeah.
and and I've told Eric this, and actually I got on Chat GTP last night and found some slightly better sites, but um, really there's not anything where it's just people kind of looking around and dialoguing. It's even the ones that have some discussion are people who are actively involved in whatever the particular. It'd be like trying to recruit on a
Jifu members
GFU
into
site.
Jifu. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But
so
are
that
you trying to recruit, or are you trying to connect, or are you trying to recruit? Which one are you
Oh,
trying to do?
I'm just making. I asked Chat GTP for some non-salesy comments to make that would make perhaps create, the relationship we're looking for. But and I do them, and I don't judge them because I think about what you said about posting your stuff, whether you knew it was crummy or not. And so I put them on there. They seem lame to me, but I do it anyway.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You'll always get
I've
better.
sorry, I'll put myself on in a minute, but um, I've been going through the group,
Yeah.
but a lot of them are all businesses already,
Yeah.
and the
Sorry, that
comments on there aren't like getting to know people. It's more of this is what I do.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's fine, isn't it? That's so if I wanted to make friends with every shoe shop owner in Britain, they they're all going to talk about their shoe shops and how good their shoe shops are, aren't they?
yeah,
No different just because they're in an online business. That's the way I see it. And Eric's got an insight. I can see.
If I walked into a networking event, and let's say I'm selling this right here, I can go two angles. I can say, well, I'm going to walk up to everybody and put this in their face and say, this is what I'm trying to sell you today. Or I could walk into that networking group and say, I'm just going to connect with people. So I'm more interested in what they've got going on. What do you have going on? How's business going for you? Well, I'm an XYZ company. Well, how's that going for you?
yeah.
Oh, it's
They're
it's
just sending me links to their companies.
Cool. Oh, right. So we can
that's
talk about.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. I pitch me all day. I want you to pitch me. I mean, I'm all I'm trying to do is make a connection, because what's happening is they're pit. This is what they've been taught, and they're pitching, and they're not getting any results because they don't know how, right? So they can pretend like they are, but they're not. So hey, I'm happy with my current company, but I'll definitely love to support you. I'm in home based business like you, and go to their page and comment on some of their stuff. All this is designed for them to go, wow, you're doing something different than everybody else. You're simply trying to make a connection with me. You're not trying to pitch me. You're not trying to sell me, right? So those people will start following your content. They'll appreciate the fact that, because this is what people are doing all day on social media. Look at my deal. Look at my deal. Look at my deal. Look at my deal. Look at my
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah,
And then
that's
all of a
what I
sudden
do.
you come in and you say, hey, that's awesome, man. How do you like your I mean, how do you like it? Have you had some success with it? Well, yeah, I just got started. Well, why did you choose that deal? What about it made you choose that deal? When they try to hard pitch me, I say, well, I'm really excited and happy about where I'm at, but I definitely love to support other people who are trying to make money online. We're all in the same boat. So is there anything I can do to help you? I have access to some free marketing training. I belong to a group that they do a free training once a week or every Tuesday. You can, and they teach you how to go market and generate leads. It might help with your existing business. So the thought is, well, how does that help me out? I'm supposed to be here signing people up and selling my product. It helps you because I can tell you in the beginning when I focused on connecting, many of those people that I connected with, I later did business with. They joined me in businesses, they got involved with me. They finally felt comfortable and they're like, Eric, I got to be honest, I've been involved in multiple things. I'm not having any success. What are you doing? What do you have going on? Right. So eventually it turned into a conversation. They started watching my content. So it really comes down to how do I want to go to the marketplace? I like to go as a connector. I'm being a little bit more aggressive now because we're doing this build, but typically if I'm out there, I'm going as a connector. I'm just trying to reach out to 20 people a day, connect with them, find out what they got going on, let them pitch me, let them do everything, because I already know just by the way they're pitching me, I already know that they're struggling, right? If they're immediately trying to, their buzzwords, this is great, this is amazing, and then I just ask simple questions. Well, how's it going for you? How long have you been in? They're not used to that. They're not used to that. They're used to going, well, I'm in a deal, and my deal does this. Your deal doesn't do that. And it's just like it becomes this like battle. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't play that game. I'm just like, hey, man, that's awesome. If you love what you're doing, man, I'll support you best I can. Let me go to your page and check out your page. Let me comment on some of your stuff. Um, it's just a different angle that doesn't feel pitchy, spammy. I mean, my only goal is to connect with 15, 20 people a day, and that's how I used to. I don't do it as much now, but it's how I built a huge network, a lot of people I know, and a lot of those people who were in the early days who were just like I was, out being Mr. Spam guy, doing everything wrong, not understanding attraction marketing, none of this. Some of those people became really good marketers. They learned, they educated, they advanced, and we advanced together. And what do they remember me in the early days? They remember me as the guy that just tried to connect with them, encourage them, and build a relationship with them. And a lot of those people later, like I said, we ended up doing business together, doing deals and all that. So anyway, that's just where I'm at, guys. I love coming to the market as a connector. There's a time to pitch, there's a time to do that, but if somebody's really interested and they want to know what you got going on, they're going to go to your page. They're going to go to your content. So if you're not putting content up regularly, that hurts you as well, because they go to your page and there's nothing on there about what you're doing or your opportunity. Then they're going to go, okay, what is this person all about? What do they got going on? So anyway, I'll let Paul kind of segue on
For
that.
me, this is like
But
going back in time, guys. I'm really getting back into the build mode like it used to be, because the magic is always to press a few buttons and for people to come and join your business, right? But today I've connected with Eric Worre. If anybody knows him, he's like, he's probably about as high as you can go now in network marketing, and Sarah Robbins, who's well-known female leader in network marketing. So I've been on their pages and they're both offering something, but what do? You have to comment to get it, and they get you in the chat box. They don't just send me a link, they get me in the chat box. Hey Paul, it's great to meet you. Yeah, and I know it's automated, but they still want to get me in that box where I can backwards and forwards with them, right? And the people that will make the most money, trust me, are not the ones who's just using AI to write a million posts. It's the people that use the AI to take the pressure off and take the shortcut to getting content out there that's going to drive people back to talking. Now, something I had to learn, because I used to be Mr. Spammy as well, because if I see how great this thing is, surely Eric sees how fantastic it is. This Jifu thing at 185 a month, he's just gonna fall over himself to pay that, isn't he? Right? Because of how good it is, right? Or OfferLab or Talk Fusion, video email. Imagine how great that is to see a video in an email, right? And trust me, people don't really care, right? A guy today said to me that video email is really cool. How much is it, right? But on the whole, people don't really care. What they really want to do is make money, and that's why they pitch and they spam. So I'm going to teach you something. Do you like Steven Seagal? Does jiu-jitsu, doesn't he? He doesn't, all right, he doesn't punch and kick much. He uses his forces, his attackers' force against them, right? So I'll teach you some of the stuff I learned. Number one, I used to tell people to put this in front of their computer or wherever they were working. Stop selling, start helping. Exactly what Eric's just told you. And I used to have to put that up to keep me on track, right? When I started
I was
trading,
just thinking we needed something like that up. Is this
yeah,
almost all I can do to keep from pitching?
yeah. So when I started trading, I used to have to write buy is long, sell is short. I had to write that down, right? And I wrote that down when I was really serious about building a fantastic big business, right? Stop selling, start helping. Because it's normal, isn't it, Eric, to want to Well, my dad's bigger than your dad. My company's better than your company because we
Yeah.
got this and we got that. And you're trying to pitch me. Don't pitch me. That's terrible. Look at my link, right? So if you do that, exactly what Eric
And
said. Cool.
and how can you stop selling and stop helping without asking questions and knowing about what the other person may need help with? So Larry Benet, I was at a private event to a guy that I know in Atlanta, Georgia, and Larry Benet showed up. I didn't know him from Adam, but he was personal friends with the guy that ran this place. He had a big giant house and a farm, made millions in direct sales. Anyway, Larry Benet gets up and he talks about connecting, and I was just like enamored. I'm like this guy. I don't know what it is, but that guy that made an impact on me. And I talked to him afterwards and I was talking about connecting. And he said, Eric, he said, he goes, you were in sales. I said, yeah. He said, so you've been to networking events? I said, yeah. He said, a typical person will go to a networking event and they can come to me after that event and they can pull out and say, I got 50 business cards from all these different people at this event. Boom, 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 boom. And I'll ask them a simple question. I said, okay, let me pull one out real quick. Okay, Janice Doe of XYZ Company. Tell me about Janice. Huh? Yeah, tell me a little bit about Janice. Who is Janice? What is she married? Does she have, this seems to be her company. What does she sell? What are some of her, what are maybe some of her struggles or some things that you might be able to, or some people you may be able to connect her with? Or I'm like, I couldn't have told you. My only thing to get all those cards was how can I now? I got all these cards, I got names and phone numbers. How can I pitch these people my stuff? That was my mentality. That's it. And
Yeah.
he goes, that's not connecting. That's not connecting. Now you come back as a connector. He goes, I may only have 2025 cards, but those 2025 cards were real conversations where I learned about the person, found out what their needs were, found out how me and my network may be able to help them. And then he goes, you have to follow up on that. So now if you talk to Janet and she said one of the biggest issues she has is whatever. She's trying to get into some local events in her area and she's having trouble finding some connections there. And I happen to have, or somebody in that area that goes to a local event. And I go, now I reach out to Janet and I say, Janet, I've actually got a buddy who lives in your area and they're a part of a networking event. And I want to connect the two of you because he would love for you to come in and share your company and what you're doing and get connected with everybody. So he said the true connectors, you follow up and you actually help them in some way. So in the marketing world, if you're talking to somebody and you have a real conversation and they say, well, my struggle is I'm in these groups, I don't know how to get leads, I don't, and you're able to follow up and say, well, here's a great free training I have, or let me connect you with this person or connect you with this group, and maybe it can help you in what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So now, yeah, you become that. How can I assist and help people? But you can't do that without a real conversation, and you have to ask questions. And one of the questions he taught was he would say, um, let me think how I said it. He said, he goes, what's the most important project you're working on right now? And how can myself or my network help you? I use that for years. I would say, hey, well, I'd be talking to somebody. I said, let me ask you, what's the most important project you're working on now? How can myself or my network help you? And they'd be like, huh? Well, I'm super excited about this Christian ministry that we're trying to get donations for, and that's like one of my main projects and something I'm really excited about thinking about. And I mean, I get help would be to kind of maybe just get attention to it, or if you know anybody, or you can get some information out there about it, right? And then you follow through with that. Now, once that happens, he would call it you've created connection equity because you've tied the whole loop. You've connected with them, you've asked them questions, you figured out how you can help them, and then remember, it's either you or someone in your network. So it's okay. Sometimes I would pass deals along. I've connected people that have that have done business together, and I never asked for a referral fee. I've connected them, and they've come together and made tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've made those kind of connections over the years. And some of these people are high powered, I mean, some of these people are seven figure earners that I can text or pick up the phone or call, and they're going to answer my calls. They're going to answer text. Even Paul, sometimes you say, how the heck do you, how do you,
Eric
how do you
knows
know these
everybody.
people? You
It's
know what I
like
mean?
unreal.
So, and I'm nothing special. I just did what Larry taught in that guide. I just did it constantly, and I got away from it. I need to do it more. But
Larry
anyway,
Benet.
yeah, yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
That guy literally, Larry Bennett. There's not a. I don't think there's a person on the planet he can't get to. I really don't. I don't care who it is. Um, you know, I was watching a couple of years ago. I was watching the Oscars, and I looked in the crowd, and I was like, "Is that Larry Benet?" He was sitting like on the second, like almost to the front at the Oscars, and I said, "I think that's Larry." I texted him. He said, "Oh yeah, I'm here at the Oscars. I had a connection that got me here. They had an extra ticket, and they kind of hooked me up." And I'm thinking, this guy's unreal. He is absolutely unreal. So, but anyway, it's just another way to go out to the marketplace, um, and I think everyone should learn that strategy along with others. So, questions,
Tommy,
guys?
Tommy, if you check your Facebook inbox after the call, you might find a little present from me.
Do what?
You
Say
might
that
find
again.
a little PDF present from me
Me?
for you about connecting. And if you're in
Okay.
Talk Fusion, if you go to Laurie's 3-step blueprint training, what I've just sent Tommy's in there. You've already got it. Perks of being in the group. So, but I've sent you it, Tommy. All right. Hope it helps.
Okay.
So,
The
go ahead.
other thing I thought about was like power lead system. I've got people that have signed up to the campaign, even though they didn't pay the money. So can I use them, contact them?
You contact anybody.
So at least that gives me some leads to follow up.
Do what Eric said. Hey, just checking in, see how you're doing. What's the biggest project you're working on right now, and how can me and my network help? Just saying hi, or you could just do that. Just saying hi. How's it going? Not spoke for a while. I see you signed up for the PLS thing. Not for you, right? I get it. It's cool. What else you doing? People look, online marketers, network marketers, they love to be asked, what are you doing? What you you're working on now? They love it. Oh, I'm in this great business. You won't believe it. Oh, it's amazing. Right? It's what they do. So I love to let them pitch me, right? But what Eric does there, have you heard about the law of reciprocity? If I give you something, yeah, if I give you something, I've just given Tommy a free PDF. He's going to feel pretty good. I've given him a free PDF. If I now go to Tommy and say, Tommy, could you do me a small favor? He's most likely say yes, because it's this law of reciprocity. If I give somebody something, they can't. There's this little thing in your head that says I ought to do something for them, right? Doesn't mean he'll get off his ass now and do something for me, but in the future, maybe we've kind of got, so you know what I mean? There's like equity again, like Eric called it. So it's always good to give people something, right? So bear that in mind. So let me this has made me a lot of money, what I'm going to share with you now, guys. I don't know if I should share this with you. No, I won't. So Deborah, let's role play a little bit. Let's role play a little bit. So we've been chatting, and you say you've just told me something great about your business, and you say, can I send you a link? So that's where we start. So you say, can I send you a link?
Can I send you a link?
Absolutely, Deborah, because you've got to be open-minded, haven't you? I'll take a look.
Thank you.
Right. Do you agree? We've got to be open-minded, yeah? Because that's what you've just basically agreed to. I'm glad you're open-minded. While you're sending me the link, tell me, how long does it take to get paid?
60 seconds.
No. Well, let's suppose you're not in Talk Fusion then. Let's suppose you're in grapey to grape, Ray Higdon always uses grapety grape as an example, right? So I've changed it for Talk Fusion, right? So I used to say, right? So how many people do I need to make $1,000 a month? That's what I used to say. That was my standard because I was promoting it was usually a lot less, right? So while you're getting me the link, just tell me how many people does it take to make $1,000 a month recurring without ever having to recruit again? Most people don't know, right? But I'll adapt this. I'll use the Steven Seagal method. So sure, you've got to be open-minded, haven't you, Deborah? Send me a link. While you're sending me it, tell me how long does it take you to get paid?
A month.
A month. Wow. Okay. So I'll gladly look at your link, but well, I literally get paid in 60 seconds, and it's hard to look at anything else when you've had that, trust me. So I will look. I promise I'll look, but you'll understand maybe, like I'm happy where I am. So Deborah, are you full time in that? No, sorry. Let me backtrack. How's it going with that? What you're going to say, whether it's going terrible or great? What is every network marketer or affiliate marketer or online marketer going to say? How's it go? Is it going all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's fine. Okay, so you're full time then?
Pretty much.
There you go. You get that pause in the chat. I've just told him it's going great, and now he's calling me out because he's asking me if I'm going full time. So now I can't really say I'm not full time, but I'm not going to lie. So what do I say? And there's always this little pause, right? Because I've done this like I used to have 5 chats going at one point all the time, right? So it'd be like the little pause, and then it's like, well, not yet, but it's really great, and I will be. And I go, oh, okay. And that's how you get in. So it's like, oh, maybe I could do something that would help you. Who's your leader? Who's guiding you? Who's mentoring you? Again, well, who's mentoring these people? Well, the guy that runs the company, he's great. He's fantastic, right? Jiffy, you got John Oliver, you can say that, right? And you got Jason Hull, you got Michael Martin, right? So you can say that. But in this case, what could we offer then? Bearing in mind that they're not full time, which basically means they're struggling, which is what 97% of the people that you speak to will be. So what could we offer them, Deborah? Laura or Tommy or Paul or Eric?
You can offer them that we work with successful network marketers that have been doing this for a while, and they're making whatever the amount, they're $100,000 a month, and they're always there for you for any help you need, give you ideas on how to market. They'll even jump on a call with somebody that mention they're interested in finding out more about your business.
Love it. But would that maybe sound like, if you said all that, would that maybe sound like a little bit threatening? It's a bit like, I want you to join something or do something.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So what about instead if I said, oh, I don't know if you know Laurie Benson, 7-figure earner and her husband West, but she's got this 3-step social media blueprint. I can get you a free copy. Would you like that? I can, if you'd ever want
That sounds
it.
a lot better.
If it's trading, if it's Jiffy, you got the straightforward Forex guide. So the law of reciprocity, I'm giving something that helps them.
Yeah, I think we didn't realise we could actually give away those things.
That's why I spend hours making them. So you don't have to, and you can just go and give them.
I knew with the Jiffy, but
this is the art of the connection that I sent Tommy. Look, right? It's in under step 3. Yeah, step 3, Laura's training, right? So you got that, you got Laura's brain in a box, you got the art of the connection. If you go back into Classroom and you go to done for your marketing tools, social media blueprint training, okay, you just put your name on the end of that, and that's your page to give that training away. We have, if you want a sales funnel, we haven't got one that's like shareable. If you're in Home Business Academy, I can share it with you. Okay. If not, you'll kind of have to You know, get your own. If you've got an autoresponder like GetResponse, you can make a basic lead capture page and GetResponse, and then you can send them to that page. But I've built the funnel. All of these pages you can share. You've got the opt-in page. You'd have to make your own opt-in page maybe, unless you've got HBA. The thank you landing page, you just got to put username on the end. The main info page, just got to put username on the end. The PDF delivery done. The social media training done, just put your username on the end. Network marketers video email playbook, which is another free bonus that you give away as part of the follow-up. Okay, there's no ID on that one, so that's not a problem. There's an interview with Laurie and West, just put your name on the end. How would Laurie and West go full-time in 90 days? Just put your username on the end. And all of these pages are referenced in your 7-day follow-up series.
Wow.
So I know, right? This is what you got to understand, right? We all think everyone's doing better than us. I know for a solid fact, if I speak to 100 network marketers, 100 online marketers, I know for a fact 97% of them are nowhere near the money they want to make. Doesn't mean they're not making money, but most of them aren't making anywhere near the money they want to make, right? So when I say, how's it going? Human nature, they're going to tell me great. I always go, oh, great. So you're full time then. Always, always, always. Well, how would you like a free training that might help you get there? But what are your dreams with desires with your business? Where do you want to go? Again, talk to people like they're people. There's this weird thing. Oh, hi, West. We'll get West. We'll hand over to West in a second, right? So there's this weird thing that goes on, right? If you put a person into a marquee at a wedding and there's like 200 guests, they naturally will talk to people. What do you do for a living? How's it going? Oh, what are you doing at the weekend? Oh, what, you know, they naturally do it. You put them in front of a computer with a business that they want to promote, and they just turn into sharky salespeople. And you got to think about for me, the way I learned it was I'm in a tent at a wedding. The difference is if you said to me, you got to go and sell these highlighter pens at this wedding event, right? I don't know who's interested in or might be interested in highlighter pens. But if I look at everybody's Facebook profiles, I get to know a bit about them. Oh, you live in Australia. I've got a friend who lives in Adeline. Oh, you're a cat person. We've got 2 Bengal crosses, fantastic cats. What have you got? You know, you can pull things out of Facebook to help make that conversation a little bit easier. So all those pages are there for you, Deborah and Laura. So
Can you send me your link
my link
to the business home?
1minutepayclub.info.
No, for the business home thing.
Oh, HBA. Yeah, I'll do that. HBA. Yeah, I'll do that. Right, to Deborah.
Thank you.
Right. We got West on a bit impromptu. So if you're in Talk Fusion, this is to help you get you 2 in 72, I guess. I think West is going to reposition that. If you're not in Talk Fusion, you can learn from this guy because he's done 7 figures, I think, multiple times. Is that right, West, in different things?
Yeah, we've had 3 specific runs in our career, Paul, and this is going to be number 4 and final for sure. But tickled to be here, man. Just proud to be partnered with you guys. I really, really am. And Paul, incredible job that you and Eric are doing with the 1 Minute Pay Club. I am really, really excited about where this is going to go. It's going to be huge. I think it's going to be an industry takeover. I really do.
Well, it's going that way. It's looking good so far. So did I say anything wrong? We just it's like embarrassing now because I'm like, here I am teaching what I've done, and then you got like West on. It's like, anyway, so you can give me red marker pen notes after. But why we got you on then, West? So I did some numbers looking at what happens if it's a typical network marketing type deal, isn't it? You come in, you get 2, they get 2, they get 2, they get 2. Was it like something like if we carry on doing what we're doing at the minute, it's like in 6 months or something? You said like $196,000 or something, was it?
Yeah, I mean that's like in the next short of 120 days.
Yeah,
because it's just duplication, Paul. It's just numbers. It's just numbers.
So what I'm really, really, really trying hard to do at the minute, and hence why I spend so much time putting these resources together, is I want to help everybody get their 2 in 72, or at least 2 in whenever, right? If it doesn't happen in 72, none of us can mind control anybody to join anything, right? So you have to congratulate yourself for doing the work and following the steps. And West has put the steps together. So I know you said you were going to come on and maybe like reposition it or something, West, but I'm going to hand over to you now to help
Well,
everybody get their 2 in 72.
well, I appreciate that, Paul. And it's not so much about reposition. Maybe that wasn't the correct word. I just want to emphasize a couple of statistics here very, very quickly, just to kind of put it into perspective. And how the percentages that I was able to pull here straight from a conversation that I had with the founder and the owner of Talk Fusion this morning early. I was on a Zoom with Mr. Bob Reyna, and he says, Wes, the percentages are 91.7% of people today are dissatisfied with where they're at. So I had to let that sink in for a moment. So let's just say 90%, 9 out of 10 people that you're ever going to communicate with are dissatisfied with where they're at, whether it's financial, their living conditions, the car they're driving. There's a lot of dissatisfaction out there. And, if that's true, which I believe that's true, because everybody that I talk to, everyone that I posture the question to, if I could show you a way to earn additional income in 60 seconds, are you open to that? Everybody is receptive. 100% are receptive. So if 90% of the people out there are disillusioned, if they're dissatisfied with their currently earning, so it just fits that an additional stream of income is very, very important. The number one thing that people are looking for today is time freedom and money freedom. You can't change that. But what you got to be able to do is change the mindset. If they're really sick and tired of being where they're at and they want money freedom and they want time freedom, that means you got to get after this positive opening question more and do it more. Because I believe, Paul, with all my heart and all my energy, how you start your business is probably how you're going to finish it. Now, that doesn't mean we can't improve with what you're currently doing. That's why we're here. That's why we have the 1 Minute Pay Club. There's been days where, guys, I just did not hit a home run all day today, and I'll fire myself. But I keep the mindset that I'm going to rehire first thing in the morning. That's how we operate. That's how leaders win. I did a working Zoom this morning, kind of like what you're doing here this morning, and I asked Lori. I said, Lori, get in the buckle case here. I said, pull out a half a dozen buckles for me. And she pulled out, we actually recorded that Zoom, Paul, and I'll get that over to you. You might be able to use some pieces of it, that will put the key in the lock for somebody and open that lock. And I talked about, I pulled the buckles up and I showed them and I said, guys, this was in 2017, this was 2014, this was 2021. I told them the partner that I was roping with and team roping, I showed them exactly what it took to win that buckle that day, to win that prize money that day. But most people aren't willing to put the work in, right? Most people aren't willing to put the work in. And finding 2 people in the 500 people that the average number is 500 people. People know 500 folks. That is the average number worldwide. And it's simple enough to find 2 people that need to earn additional income out of that 500. I mean, it is. And the power of duplication, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 10 different business building teams here. We're talking about 2, one on the left side, one on the right side. And teaching those 2 to do the same, the power of 2 is astronomical. Bob broke it down for me this morning. He says, guys, I want to ask you a question. What is it that you want out of Talk Fusion? What is that financial goal that you're looking for? And he looked at me and he laughed. Guys, he laughed at us. He said, that's great, but why so low? We're talking about a billionaire here that's giving us information. Guys, we've been at the top of the mountain before. We're going back again. But he's saying, make the mountain bigger. Make it larger. Increase that. So how do we do it? We put more work in on a daily, consistent basis. If you're working an hour a day with a program, Find a little more time, but be consistent day in and day out. Ask the question more often. Do you know someone that needs to increase their income? By the way, I've got a program that pays in 60 seconds. Do you know anyone? But yeah, I do. Me. How about me? Send the video. Do I have your permission to send you a 3-minute video? And can I call you back in 4 minutes? Well, sure. Call me back in 4 minutes. Let me watch the video. Send it. It's just that simple, folks. We try to make it difficult. One of the things that I see a mistake a lot of times, Paul, that people make is they want to get into the product. Not one time this morning since you introduced me have I talked about video, email, and templates. Listen to me. It's not about templated, branded video email. Listen, that's a wonderful product. And yes, it will help raise revenues of a business owner percentages by 756%. The numbers are out there. The percentages are proven. But I'm talking about my percentages. My percentages are not about marketing and becoming an email expert. My percentages, my bottom line, my checking account is going to be improved by how well I sponsor and recruit into the compensation model by selling the 60-second pay plan. Am I getting through? This is serious stuff here, guys, because I'm talking about your money. And next to oxygen and your relationship with the God Almighty above, this is the third most important thing that you're going to be hearing about today, is your income. We need to impact everybody's income in a positive way, because if 91.7% of the people are dissatisfied with where they're currently living and what they're currently driving and what they're currently doing on vacation, whatever that dissatisfaction is, we've got the solution. We just got to get it to enough people where it impacts you. You know, I love it when the pilot comes on and he says, okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the event that we lose cabin pressure, please secure your face mask first, then put it on the children. You see, you got to make yourself healthy first. You got to make yourself healthy first. Then we can help others. Does that make sense?
Oh.
That's what we're doing here at Talk Fusion. It's a life raft. It's a solution to the current problems. And if 9 out of 10 people are dissatisfied with where they're currently at, Paul, this is the solution. The number one issue that we see today is people need more of currency, dinero, money, pounds, whatever your verbiage is. This is what we got to do. We can solve the problems today. If people are looking for money freedom, I've got the answer. If they're looking for time freedom, I've got the answer. If they're in that 91.7% of people that are dissatisfied in life, I do have the answer. It's money. It's additional income. And why not earn it 60 seconds at a time? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting that recording back this morning. I talked about yesterday just briefly about Theodore's whiskey liquor. That was a gray gelding that I owned for several years, and I ended up crippling the horse, but we earned a lot of money. I won a little over 330,000 documented. I don't know the exact number, in about 2.5 rodeo seasons on this horse. And he was an amazing animal. I called him Ted. And the story with Ted this morning just really brought tears to my eyes, because it brought back memories, right? Well, he changed my life. Well, in the process, I was able to change his life. Even though I crippled him, I was able to donate him to a good friend of mine, and his son learned how to rope on this horse. You see what I'm saying? He went to greener pastures about a year ago. But where does all this make sense? Full circle here, guys. You got to come around. Every event that happens in your life today, every episode that happens in your life today, if you'll listen closely, the issue is going to come up in conversation with people. They're going to mention to you that they need to earn some additional income, that they'd love to have more money and more time freedom. The solution is in your hands. It's Talk Fusion. It's Talk Fusion. Guys, I feel so blessed today to have what we have. And people's lives are going to be changed, Paul Turner. They're going to be changed. We're going to change people's trajectory one family at a time with this program. I honestly believe, I was telling Bob Reyna this morning, I believe that Talk Fusion will become a household name. It's going to become a household name worldwide. Has anybody seen the Tide detergent commercial that's on TV right now? Anybody seen it?
Probably we
Right.
get different ones.
Yeah, you don't get them. Nobody sees them. Why? Because it's a household name. Why would they spend money on advertising? They don't. Neither will Talk Fusion. The advertisers are us. The only way to get to that video email product, the only way to get to 60-second pay, the only way to be able to feel the power of what this conversation can do is through you. It's through your URL. Back to you, Paul. Thank you, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, West. That's like a sermon.
Fired up this morning.
Fired up. Okay. So what I take from that, guys, is what I was saying to sort of Deborah earlier. It's like, I know most people, I assume they want something, right? And before I learned that, I was like, everybody's better than me. Nobody's going to want to listen to me, right? But that's what I took from it. It's like when I said to like the average network marketer, I've been in the top. I was earning what 11.5K a month. What's that percentage wise? I think it was the top 2%, top 2% in network marketing, right? I've been there, right? I've been there, right? To get there though, I had to learn, right? Because when you've done it, it's actually harder because you're not on the same level as most people you speak to. Honestly, you've got an advantage, guys, is what I learned, right? So that's why you always want to point to somebody else, right? So point to West and Laurie, right? But that assumption made me a lot of money. Once I learned that actually, no, not everybody's better than me. Actually, I've got something that can help them because they're struggling either the same as me or worse than me, right? And that made a big difference, just that posture, right? And was it Darren Little Eric used to say, didn't he? He's like, I've got the cookie. And it was like, so he'd be like, just sort of chuckle to himself and what? I got the cookie. And they want a piece of my cookie, but they can't have the cookie. And that was his posture, and it was like, yeah, I've got this thing that can make me some side hustle. Well, what is it? Oh, I don't. It was almost like, when you play hard to get.
Yeah.
And that's probably where we started with this, was like, people sort of spamming links and stuff. And that's probably like not a bad position to come from. It's like, what would you be interested? Rather than, sure, let me give you a link. Here we go. Look. There's like, what, you'd be interested in some information. Sure. Yeah. Let me get it to you. And another thing that I learned from Ray Higdon was, oh, sure, let me send you the link. Hang on a minute. Let me get pen and paper. I promise I'll get back to you. Because there's always that awkward follow-up, right? Yeah. With this, it's like, what is it, a 4-minute long video? I mean, it's 3-minute long video. So it's like, if you're watching it now, can you watch it now? I'll just get back to you in 4 minutes. So even the sign-up process is quicker with this. There's no long webinars to watch. So thanks, West. Has anybody got any questions for West while he's on? You got a master here, so.
I don't know about the master, but you guys have been so impressive for me, Paul and Eric. I just love being around you, and everything you say daily just resonates right here. I love it.
We're smart enough to know that we don't know everything, and we listen to people that have got what we want. So when we get like a 7-figure earner, it makes sense to learn from you, sir. So thanks very much for saying that. But we're all in.
Can we close it out with this, Wes? Can you think about all the years you've been in? Can you think or give us a story of someone that you started working with who was timid, didn't like to connect, was nervous, was ready to run out, kick and scream and not do this, that ended up coming in, changing, and becoming successful in the industry? Do you have a story like that you could share?
I've got several, and one I'll share here real quickly. I'll kind of keep it tight, 3 to 4 minutes if I can. It's how I started in the industry, and I remember that day just like it's today. It was May the 25th, 1990. And I do a training, Eric, called the Red Letter Day. And that's a red letter day for me. And that's the day that I joined network marketing, multi-level marketing, MLM, back when it had two M's, right? The name has changed through the years, but multi-level marketing. So there was a gentleman, he's passed away now. His name was Jim Suter. Jim was a very, very dear friend of mine. And he says, West, I want you to teach me how to team rope. And I worked with him for several years and got into where he was winning some checks and some amateur divisions, but we became best friends. And I'll never forget that day. It was about a week prior to May 25th of 1990. He says, West, there's this guy that I've heard about that's making $400,000 a month. This was back in 1990. And he's quit teaching. He was a school teacher. He was actually a basketball coach. And I don't know how these coaches, but most of them teach geography. That was kind of the topic back then. So they were teachers, right? Most of them did history or geography that were coaches. And this gentleman is going to be speaking in Dallas, Texas, West. We need to go see him. So we made plans. And that day, he was speaking at 2:00 that afternoon at the Anatole Hotel in Dallas, Texas. That hotel, by the way, is still there today. It's a very, very prestigious place in Dallas. Many of you have probably heard of it or seen it or maybe even stayed there. So we get down there that afternoon about 1:00. The line is like 2,500 people deep. And I never knew Jim Suter to do any kind of network marketing. We never talked about those conversations. But boy, he had played in the game some. Never had any big success, but he had made a monthly residual check with various companies. And he says, I know somebody. Wes, come on, I know somebody. We got in front of the line. Guys, we were able to get in the first 3 rows of the Anatole Convention Center. There were about 3,000 people when the meeting got started. This guy walks out on stage, guys. He had a blazer on. He was in blue jeans, just had a collared shirt. And he walked up to the podium and he stuck his hand out. He reached down on the shelf. He said, excuse me just a minute. And he spit in a cup. He spit. He was dipping. And I thought to myself, I looked at Jim. I called him Suter. I said, Suter, what is this? He said, just watch him, West. Come to find out, his name was Paul Orberson. Some of you probably remember his name.
Yeah.
Paul Orberson did extremely well. Matter of fact, he started his own company after the Excel Communications run. That $400,000 a month went to over $1.2 million a month. He made that for over 4 years. I asked him that if I started following him around, would he teach me a thing or two? I showed up in Greensboro, North Carolina, about 3 weeks after I joined that day. And he saw me, he recognized me. Then I showed up in California and LA. What I would do, folks, is I'd run an ad in the newspaper. Okay, you guys are thinking, what in the world's an ad in the newspaper? Some of you know. And I would posture a meeting prior to wherever I was roping at the local rodeo that next week. Y'all follow what I'm saying? So I would have people show up. Sometimes nobody showed up, but I would have 1 or 2 occasionally. And I would do these meetings before he came into town that following weekend to try to get traction, to get some sponsorship. We became friends through that. He noticed me. He saw me several times. We shook hands. I became good friends of Paul and his first wife, Carla Orberson. We lost him to cancer about 7 years ago. 8 years ago, I went to the funeral in Kentucky. They have a facility there at Western Kentucky University dedicated to his name. He just really did some amazing things. He went on to start a company called Fortune High Tech Marketing. Any rate, Jim Suter became my first regional director in Excel Communications. Guys, it was a stair-step breakaway matrix that you had to build. You had to build 5 teams. Once you promoted up, you had to rebuild in that new line of code of business. Lots of holes to jump through and around and hoops. And guys, it was very, very difficult to get to the top. But Jim Suter became my first regional director in my executive director business. I sponsored his wife back in. We learned how to monetize the system. And I took him to his first $10,000 a month. And that may not sound like much, but guys, we're talking about 1991, 1992. It changed his life. He was able to buy a scorpion of a hill horse, and we roped. And I remember his first check that he won with me was in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Pretty amazing time. Great memories. but I lost him also to cancer about 15 years ago. Suter became successful in the industry, guys, and he was very coachable. That's the key thing. He was coachable. He learned what to say and how to posture that opening positive question. You know, of course, if we'd have had 60-second pay back then, Eric and Paul, I may not even know you guys. Deborah, Laura, I may not. Tommy, Paul, I may not have ever met y'all, right? I mean, that's how quick this program's changing things. People are coming into Talk Fusion now quicker and faster than ever because of 60-second pay. Trust me, it's not about video email, though that's a great product and they're enhancing it every day with all kinds of little tricks and nuances and different things. But what you have in your hands is a mechanism to impact the 91.7% of those people that are dissatisfied, right? But Jim Suter was one of those people that we worked with closely. And I've got more, Eric, but for the sake of time, Paul, we'll go into some other stories later. But Jim Suter, goodness gracious, I loved him just like he was my brother. And I miss him. I think about him every day. I talk to Lori about Suter all the time. But yeah, the
Funny
industry.
because I was in Excel.
Yeah. So you know the
yeah, another company, and same thing. I had a guy that by the name of Bill Nicole out of
I know.
Jackson,
I've met him before. Yeah.
Bill Nicole out of Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, he had
Yes.
an Excel center. He had
Yes.
a little center. He
Yes.
owned the donut shop right across the way, and he was my first exposure to the industry. And through him, I got my first check. I'll tell this story and we'll get off here, but I'll never forget. I was at his Excel center, and it was the evening, and they had done a business presentation. Everyone left. Bill said, hey guys, stay here. There was like two or three of us. Y'all stay here real quick. He walked over to the donut shop right next. He owned the donut shop next door, and he comes pulling around in this truck. He says, "Here's my brand new truck," and we were all like, "Oh, Bill, that's sweet, man. That's a great truck." Yeah, man, I own it. I own it outright. I paid cash for it. We're like, wow. He said, well, I didn't pay. He said, you know who paid for that truck? We're like, who? He said, Excel Communications paid for that truck. It was like a $25,000, back then,
Yeah. Yeah.
25,000. I said, Bill, you paid cash 25,000. I mean, I was in my early 20s. You would have thought or I think I may have been 19, 20. I can't remember. You would have thought I just was looking at him like, that's incredible. Like I had never, I didn't even imagine, because I grew up poor. So I'm looking at him like, like I can't even afford I couldn't even get finance for a truck like that, let alone pay it outright. But yeah, that's interesting and Orbison, I've seen him too. And another guy by the name of Cowboy, I forget. They call him Cowboy.
Cowboy Whitehead.
Yeah.
He was out of Jacksonville.
Cowboy Whitehead. He was another character, man.
Maitland, Florida. So there were three guys in Excel that wore cowboy hats. It was me, Cowboy Whitehead, and Randy Hedge out of D. Queen, Arkansas. The three of us. Yeah. We shared the stage many times. Yeah.
Anyway, that's amazing.
Yeah. Great stories. Awesome. Thank you.
Right, so listen, let's just close this out real quick with, if you're watching this on the recording or on our blog or email list, let me just see if I can send you the right thing. Let me just share this with you. So we got a new customer today. I want you to take notice of the time. So you earned a commission at 12:27. That was the team commission. The fast start commission we earned at 12:27. And then our Paylution account, where the money goes, 12:27. So the same minute we get the sale, we get the pay. If you've got the card, it's on there in seconds. I transfer it to a bank. It takes about an hour to 2 hours, but about an hour, 20 minutes. I think the last one took, if you go straight to your bank. But if you get the card, it really is that instant. The other thing I want to say, going back to like where we started a little bit, like trying to find people to talk to in groups for your network marketing business. Where I targeted people was other network marketers. Why? I've never heard, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. They're trying to better themselves. And like we've just been talking about the stats, 91% of people are unhappy with their life. I know that most network marketers aren't making the sort of money they want to make, right? And the reason for that is most of them are left to their own devices, right? Or the company training, right? People don't go through the training. And I'll tell you another thing, people don't just follow the goddamn system, right? my first network marketing business was called Utility Warehouse, and they had booklets back then. They gave you 6 booklets and they told you what to say. And I'd been in sales, and I said, "You've only given me 6 books. I need like 60." I still had those 6 books like 8 weeks later, right? Because I didn't follow the system. When I just started following the goddamn system and I did as I was told, that's when it started working. And from speaking to some people at the minute, like West's question, who do you know would like to make, some extra cash, especially in 60 seconds, or however you want to word it, but it's that curiosity that wins. And I've had people saying, well, I've contacted like 20 people and none of them are interested. Well, what have you sent? And they've sent them like a book. Hey, have you heard about video email? It's amazing. It really does give better stats. It's better. Guys, so just follow the system. So I personally like dealing with network marketers because I can give them what they want. I can get them Loris training. I can get them access to West, right? They're not worried about video email, although they can use the tool to help promote their current business. And when you when you can get paid in 60 seconds. So if you're struggling for people to speak to, works for the same for Forex, Tommy. Any business you're in, guys, that would benefit them. Eric Worre there, he's got 2.4 million followers, right? Do you think we could all find 2 people out of 2.4 million people that are in our target audience? I'm telling you from experience, you absolutely can, because that's what I did. And if you're still not sure, there's a video. I did a video today. It's on YouTube, how to find 3 million people to speak to. And all I did, I went to ChatGPT, give me the top names in network marketing, gave me them. I went on Facebook, Eric Worre, Fraser Brooks, Sarah Robbins, Ray Higdon, Todd Falcone, and there were a few other names on there, right? And you go and you find their pages, and sure enough, one of Eric Worre's comments has got 435 comments. That's 435 people that are active now that I can go and make a friend with. And I've had 2 fresh conversations with people today just from liking those comments. And I only liked about 30 of them. And I've had 2 fresh conversations today with those people. Now, if they're trying to make money, what have we got? 60-second pay, access to Lorien West, right? Page, the 1 minute pay club school. We've done, how much work have we done? Me and Eric, we've worked so hard on that to give everybody the resources to make it simple. Most teams would crawl over broken glass to get a hold of that stuff. So remember, most people are struggling. Most people aren't happy. We have got the cookie. With everything I've just given you, we've got the cookie. And that's my take on it. And I go into it like everyone's going to join. Who wouldn't want this? Who wouldn't want it? But you got to follow the system. Do you know anyone? And I really will close it. I could talk forever because I love this stuff. I love training, right? But I used to go to a business networking group, and there'd only be like 26, 30 people turn up. I had a traditional business then, SEO business. There'd only be like 26, 30 people sometimes. And I'm like, oh, it's not worth it because they're not all going to want my services, are they? And somebody taught me. They said, no, you don't understand. You don't say, does anybody here want SEO? You say, who do you know who might want SEO? Because out of that 26 people in the room, they're all thinking, who do I know who might want SEO? And most of them could probably think of 2 or 3 or 4, so you don't actually speak to 26. In effect, you're reaching probably like 100, 150 maybe, right? But that's the thing, like, who do you know who would like, and everybody knows somebody. If 91.7% of people are struggling, that's my take on it anyway. Anybody got any last questions or anything they want to say before we go?
I just have a real quick question. I think it was answered. So with the 60-second pay, so that's, you get the 60-second pay when you sign a sponsor up, team commissions, everything?
Everything except the Blue Diamond pool. That's going to be,
Okay.
that'll be paid monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But once it's calculated, it'll be paid in 60 seconds.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. We're excited for you, Laura.
Laura's marketing's taken a big upturn at the minute. She's on fire. So
Love it.
just keep being consistent. Anybody else got a question? Anybody struggling that wants to ask Wes something while you got him? Right. Well, in that case, then I'm going to go and get some food because it is 5 minutes past 6 in the UK. So
Thanks again, Wes.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Not too early to open the wine, is it? So, all right. We'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot. I'll stop the recording.
Bye, guys. Appreciate you guys.
Cheers.
Bye.